All right.
Jake is away.
That's Caitlin. Cake us away.
Ooh, I want cake.
Yeah, me too. Damn it.
Stop talking about cake all the time on this podcast.
Next week we show up, there's a cake. It's gonna be great. Welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, a Star Trek podcast. But not this week, because this week...
What?
We're on shore leave, and we're on Firefly episode 6.
Shore leave, you must be joking. I think we've made this joke before.
I am serious, and don't call me shore leave.
At the very least, that joke was in Caitlin's fan fiction.
Oh, good.
Most recent one.
Yes, I did. Did I leave it in?
You did.
It's definitely in.
No, I left it in.
You did.
I toyed with cutting it. Anyway.
Well, you didn't tell me to, so it's still in the recording.
Everyone, check out our fanfics to listen to more of Caitlin's nonsense.
On Lawnsense? SSHBpodcast.com.
Lawnsense would be a great name for like a
Lon Chaney biopic?
No, I was gonna say a garden care.
Yeah, like a horticulturist.
Fine. Lawnsense. It's a great fucking Tumblr. I am Caitlin, and with me this week are...
Jake.
Chris.
Ames.
Pronouns are she, her. Simon Tam said trans rights.
Woo!
That's right, everybody. The bench is back. It's me, D.
Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci over here.
Maeve Binchy?
Name Judy
That was
Dench.
good. Okay, go.
I don't think any of this was good.
No, it was all terrible.
Let's do this thing.
Cut it all.
No.
So today we're going to discuss 2 episodes of Joss Whedon's Firefly. The episodes are Trash. That's the name of the episode. And The Message. First we're going to talk about Trash. So, Trash. So aptly named. Both because we have the return of Saffron, who is trash, and also because we have set up an elaborate heist once again.
Chris loves heists.
He does, but I bet he doesn't like this episode. Yeah. He made the kind of motion with his hand, listeners. You know the one. So, in Trash, Mal finds out that his former good buddy, or current good buddy, has taken a wife, and the wife is Saffron.
Whoops. No, her name is Bridget.
Somehow Bridget, Saffron, Cheryl, Carol winds up in a crate on the Firefly, but she has made Mal a great offer to make big bucks by stealing it's one of the first laser guns ever created, and it's one of only 2 left in existence, something. Anyway, it's worth lots of money. And she's like, and here's what we'll do. We'll steal it and we'll make a shitload of money. And Mal's like, yeah, trusting you seems good. And
totally.
And the viewer is like, the fuck, Mal, you idiot. And they come up with a great plan, and Kaylee, in fact, is the one who cracks the case, because this gun is in the house of a wealthy collector.
Kivas Fajo.
Duran Hamer.
Who has... Yes, Duran Hamer. Who has, he's got microchips on this shit, and if you try to take it out the front door, the back door, the windows, any place, it's gonna set off all kinds of fucking alarms. But he forgot to alarm the trash chutes. So, the plan is...
Big oversight.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? We're gonna dump the motherfucker in the trash. We're gonna rendezvous with the trash ship to get it before it gets incinerated. And then we're gonna split the spoils. It's gonna be awesome. However, when we get down to Duran Hamer's happy hometown, it turns out he too was once... Homestead, I guess is what I meant. He also has been married to... Yolanda, which... Okay. What is her real name?
We don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah. I bet it's like... I don't know.
Kermit.
Oh, yeah. That sounds like a girl's name
Rumpelstiltskin.
in 20... whatever this is. I'm going to choose to think it's Phineas. So, Phineas...
Good name.
Phineas
Love
and
the name
Mal,
Phineas.
while they're trying to steal the majig, Duran himself walks in and is like, oh my god, you brought me back my wife, this is awesome. But then... shit kind of hits the fan, and Saffron kicks him in the face to knock him out, and they make a getaway. However, unsurprisingly, Saffron has duped good Captain fucking idiot face Reynolds and leaves him literally naked on a desert planet. Man, I'm just like, sunburn on his pee-pee. That's all I can think. Like, it's...
Keep your legs crossed.
Yeah, dude, damn. So, but did she really double-cross him? Because it turns out...
I mean, yes, she did.
I mean, she did. She certainly left him naked on a planet, but...
They were expecting it.
They were one step ahead of this.
The naked part.
No.
They did not pack pants.
Well, you know...
Go on, Caitlin.
These are not Boy Scouts, you know, they're not prepared for everything. So, and Saffron, it turns out, had also, like, fucked with Firefly, so it couldn't drive, and they were like, oh, noes. But when she goes to pick up the treasure in one man's trash, Inara's there and is like, oh, bitch, looking for this? I don't think so. And she closes her in the trash compactor and is like, good luck, babe. And
she's dead now, probably.
No, she said they called the cops. She's not
yeah,
gonna
don't
die
worry,
in there.
you're not going to be dead, you're just going to be behind bars.
She's going to hook up with who did we meet last week again?
Nishka.
Having an
no.
adventure. She's also his wife.
Yeah, I was going to say, can you imagine if she married Nishka? Because he would just literally, like, peel her skin off with a rusty, like, potato peeler if he found out that shit.
No, that would be great. They would be like the what's like the Fearsome Four or something? You know, like a super team of supervillains.
I just feel like they'd be totally, like, into it kind of thing, and she'd, like, pull a prank on him, and he'd, like, be totally like, oh, man, that
They'd
was
be
great.
the sociopath squad is what they would be.
The way that team up would inevitably go is she would betray him out of habit, and then his like sense of I have to kill everybody who betrays me kicks in. This is how it always goes. They can never actively sustain.
It's a real May
Young
December
It's real.
romance.
It's a sad story repeated often in superhero comics.
Yep.
Cool.
So that's this episode.
I like the heist.
That's okay.
Yeah, but it's like the second best heist
It's not
episode
as-
of the 11 episodes of this series.
It's not as tightly done as it was in Ariel.
No.
No Simon tying it all together. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. Gotta get
Saffron
that pretty boy
was
in
sloppy.
there.
You gotta.
Yeah, but everything kind of around the heist was very uncomfortable and squicky and poorly written.
Yeah.
Like, just watching the Mal Saffron scene and the Mal Inara scene and then the next Mal Saffron scene, and you're like, what? Who is writing this?
An idiot.
White man.
Yeah, this was an unaired episode, correct?
This was the first of the unaired episodes.
Good choice.
Yeah, I could see why this one got cut.
They were like, well, it says right on it, it's
Well,
trash.
because
Just skip it.
But people love Christina Hendricks,
Well,
right?
they do, and like honestly, like it's nice to bring that character back because her first appearance was good.
it?
I don't know. I liked her in first appearance, and I think that it was reasonable for her to be a recurring character.
It just seems awfully soon. I mean, Saffron was like 6 episodes
Well, that's
ago.
the thing.
It's
It
too
might have
much.
been a little soon, and I don't think they really knew what they wanted to do. Like,
No.
she was interesting and smart the first time. And this time it's just like, yeah, she's doing the same shit again, but like they already know her deal, so there's no mystery to it.
Well, it's
Yeah.
interesting because like what they really want to do is advance Mal and Nara, right?
Yeah, ultimately.
How
I
do
think.
you all think this episode does that?
Oh, horribly.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's like it's just not a believable
It's
relationship.
also
to me.
just another case where this show somehow thinks that like he can call her a whore, and
All
her
the time.
calling him a petty criminal somehow makes them even. He is a petty criminal.
I mean, this...
She is a sex worker.
This, I mean, yeah, but...
Yeah, but that's not you know as well as I do.
I do.
The show's attitude toward sex work is like...
vile.
While sort of like quietly patting itself on the back for being like...
It's
So
a companion.
progressive.
Look how different
it's
it
normalized
is.
in society, but the show still treats it like
And yet
it's
somehow
really-
these specific characters still have what would frankly be a fairly regressive attitude today.
Yeah.
Guys, remember, Mal, asshole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that seems to be
The,
a continuing theme.
But
That's
also,
true, there
like,
is-
she would... Go ahead.
I'm sorry, there is kind of that difference between what the characters perceive and what the show is portraying. Because when you say
Yeah.
like Mal is calling her a whore and making fun of her job so much because he's a dick to her, not because like they're trying to say that what she does is actually what he says it is.
Yeah, is this his grown-up big boy version of pulling her pigtails to show her he likes her, or what?
I mean, the problem here, and this is like, you gotta separate the author from the work as best you can sometimes, but Joss Whedon just really likes the word whore. Because it is the year of our Lord 2019, and this dumb motherfucker has another show coming out on HBO.
And it's just called whore.
There is
Wild.
there is they recently released like a list of character descriptions, and a character is blatantly called a whore
In the
character description.
Just.
Yeah, so he has not learned a fucking thing, and he can go to hell.
Hooer. He's not even pronouncing it right. It's pronounced hooer. There's 2 syllables.
But yeah, no, everything about like the fact that like this weird again, it was like last week with the bullshit. Like you had a good premise ruined by.
No, I was...
good premise with war stories ruined by, like, just childishness. And this is a similar thing. It's like, he's gonna take on this idiot mission, kind of to show Inara something.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that
it's
entirely.
so dumb.
She's like, you never make the big score, Mal. What are you, a little bitch?
Well, yeah.
He's like, I'll show you, whore.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I'm sure the geisha bobblehead job made them plenty of money.
It sounds like a smart job.
Listen, they loved those dolls.
All I can figure, by the way, having thought of that, is like, surely they were just being smuggled to avoid some sort of like entry fee or tax. I can't imagine those are a problem.
No, yeah, they
Unless
made
they're still full of cocaine.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, that they were actually full of drugs.
I bet that they
Where
made
that was a thing. What was the movie where that was a thing where they stuffed cocaine into like little
Brokeback...
the Chipmunks movie.
Broke Down Palace is what I was thinking.
That's
not
the one I'm
Brokeback
thinking
Mountain.
of. There was a movie where they had
Palace.
filled Virgin Mary statues.
Lost. They did that on Lost.
Oh, was it Lost? Okay.
It was Lost.
But see,
But did they lose the cocaine?
I'm only half kidding because if you don't remember, the 80s Chipmunks movie was about smuggling like diamonds and tricking the chipmunks into being unwitting mules.
Oh.
That is a fucked up movie.
Whoa!
Yeah, no, it is a deeply fucked up film.
Diamonds are almost as big as chipmunks.
Well, they're hiding them in dolls the chipmunks have.
Remember,
The
that
chipmunks should easily hide them.
these
in
are
their
the
cheeks.
musical chipmunks.
I like that.
Smuggling
They're
drugs
giant
all
for
night
some
and
reason.
all day.
Wait, is there an origin? I shouldn't encourage this, but is there an origin story for the chipmunks? Like, why are they like that? Is it like the turtles where they got exposed to ooze?
No, they never got into it. It was really just because the guy that created them realized he could do a squeaky voice if he sped up his record. And
Oh, goodness.
God,
they
I
literally
love
were all
that cartoon,
spawned
though.
because of it. All came from that one novelty Christmas song he wrote.
Yeah.
It's
And he did all
from
the
that.
voices.
Yeah,
Wait. So that was the origin of the chipmunks? Was the stupid
song. He was all 4 voices.
Listeners,
Alvin?
Okay, well, I apologize. This is probably our worst tangent ever, and that's saying something.
We are getting off track, but I am here to say that one thing I do I just like...
Simon was my favorite chipmunk, and you can't change my mind.
Actually, when I was a kid,
Okay, Caitlin, no roasting me. I was going to say that one thing I like about this episode is there is just something for me really fun about seeing Inara with a gun at the end.
yes, that's
It's just fun.
And her costume was great.
Yeah, that was a cool costume.
She
With
looked
the
like a
veil.
bad
it's
bitch.
it's a great like power move costume.
It is.
Like, hey Saffron,
The veil.
you're crawling around in trash. I look cool with a veil, and I have a neat gun. So fuck you.
Yeah, there's a moment when we're in the kitchen or something, and Zoe punches Saffron in the
Oh
face.
my God.
And I'm like, fuck yes, Zoe, kick her face in. And then Inara does the thing at the end, and she's like, haha. And I'm like, yes, fuck yes, Inara, kick her face in.
Oh, there is a very, very minor, not worth mentioning Trek connection.
Why are you
Cool.
mentioning it?
Because I can.
Oh, fair
Mal's buddy from the war, who
Monty?
kind of looks like either Crosby, Stills, or Nash, I forget which one, has a very brief cameo in an episode of Enterprise.
He looks a lot like Harry Mudd.
I can see that. I believe his line is because he's part of an angry mob.
There we go. I have to say, I'm sad that I didn't.
How did they spell that? Sorry,
It's-
T. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sad. I think that last week we were talking lesbian content, very bad lesbian
Yeah.
content and war stories. I actually like the flirtation between Inara and Saffron in the first episode with Saffron. It's pretty good.
yeah.
Kind of hot.
Yeah. I was
And
into
they
it.
realize they're playing each other, and they're like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh my
Interesting.
God, mutual respect and love fest. And the thing is that's totally a thing that, like, women who want to lift up other women do. Well, they'll be like,
boy.
oh my God, I love your dress. Oh my God, your hair's gorgeous. Bitch, you're gorgeous. You're gorgeous.
Don't men
Stop.
suck?
Yeah.
Let's move
Yeah.
on.
But
It's true. Yes, let's.
Yeah.
Want to make
If
out?
I was
Yes.
single, that's how some of my lifting up conversations would go. I'm sorry, ladies. I'm off the market.
I wanna lift up yo boobs. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'll see
where?
myself out. I don't know.
Where do they need to go?
I know that's a bad pickup line.
I mean,
and I mean...
Since we've been on the special planet, they have gotten firmer.
Callbacks.
Fucking movie.
Yeah.
What else happened in this episode?
Hey, Worf, have you noticed that your boobs are feeling firmer?
So Kivas Fajo, or whatever his name was.
You know that's not what it is.
I know, but I don't remember
Dura.
what it was. What?
Duras.
Duras, I was thinking that too.
I liked his little collection because I was thinking like I don't think we said it during the episode, but the problem with Kivas Fajo's collection was like so much of it
During
was
the episode.
Earth stuff because they needed the audience to be like, oh wow,
Oh wow, the
It's
Mona
Earth-
Lisa
It's
or
from Earth
something.
that was.
yeah, this guy. It makes sense that all of his stuff. I like that one of them is like just an empty, nasty phone booth. And I don't even think there was a phone in it. It was just the booth.
Which is like an ancient artifact today.
Yeah.
So the fact that one survives to that time is even more impressive.
Yeah, I wish we got a better look at other stuff in his collection because
Do you think
I
he has data?
Yes.
that actually would have been a nice touch if he had like a little Mr. Data action figure
Oh,
somewhere.
that
That would have been a nice little sort of meta thing.
I do really like the whole scenic design of this episode, like the premise of like weird floating islands.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
they do
That's
love floating
great.
islands.
That's a nice
pretty
touch.
cool.
That reminded me of
Cloud
Billy
City.
Billy D. Williams' Cloud City.
It actually really reminds me of
Cloud City.
Jackson's?
no
Castle in the Sky from...
the really good Mass Effect 2 DLC with Kasumi.
That's the one I haven't. No, I haven't played that
really
or the one with
good.
the other chap.
It's a heist, like so.
Oh,
It's
nice.
like a heist. It's a Kasumi in the Mass Effect universe is like a thief, and it's kind of this. You're like he has a huge collection of rare artifacts. You're breaking into his party at his fancy estate on like super rich planet. Yeah, it's just like a good vibe, and I feel like it gets to a lot of the. It plays into a lot of the show's imagery around like the contrast between the haves and the have-nots, like the idea of like Kaylee like messing around with the trash, these trash bins that are completely invisible to the wealthy population that they allow to live on their floating islands.
Yeah, well, and also the fact that like you put something in the trash and it goes into this giant dumpster, and then the dumpster immediately gets removed. It doesn't even fill up. Like it's
You can just push the button and have the whole thing taken away.
Was
Like,
that part of their hack? Like that?
no, because they even showed when it was functional.
Ah.
They showed like a servant just toss a single thing in and push the button.
Maybe there was a level that shows you when it's full, and they press it when it's
Or
full.
maybe the rich and useless like just don't care about consumption of
Oh,
like...
well, that too.
Lifestyles
anything.
of the rich and the useless.
and also the fact that it just gets immediately incinerated is what they said.
Yeah.
It's like a little
Does the whole-
worrying
well,
because
that's-
some like little jerk child is gonna put like
Fall
his
in
baby
there.
sister in there. And
Yeah,
be like, Mommy, there's
Hopefully,
baby
there's a
gone."
sensor for life signs.
Well, what I was thinking is if, like, you were found to have done something incriminating, like, I don't know, calling the president of another country and, like, making a deal for him to fuck with your enemies, if you had to just throw away all those transcriptions, you'd know that they'd be incinerated
Really,
in
really
minutes.
curious where our life is going to be by the time this episode goes up.
The date.
Oh,
is-
exactly where we are now, I'm sure.
The date is 9/25.
Nothing ever
Future
happens. Nothing
historians.
ever happens quickly.
Except the mooch.
The mooch.
The mooch.
God, we called him.
Yeah,
That
actually,
was so good.
It's interesting that it's really impressive that the president was impeached and removed from office yesterday.
I know.
Wow.
Ooh.
Bold. Strong.
Jake saying it how it's going to go, as he always
It
does.
worked for the mooch. I'm gonna try it now.
Well, once the Miranda recordings hit the waves.
Oh yeah,
That'll be
wave.
The
When
Miranda.
somebody
Oh,
Google waves
you'll
about
see.
Miranda.
You'll see.
It's
I have
from the,
no
it's from
idea
the
what we're
movie.
talking
It's from the
about.
I
movie.
know.
Oh,
You'll find
from
out.
Serenity?
Serenity.
Oh, I've
Okay,
seen it.
fine.
I just didn't...
I haven't seen it.
So here's a deal about this show.
Mhm.
The
big deal?
The pacing in this show wasn't. I felt like had some moments of meh.
Yeah, you're right. It
Like
was a little off.
the entire hacking the Gibson thing, hacking the
Lassiter?
no the trash
Oh, the trash thing.
the dumpster, hacking the dumpster was just played for so long. I feel like
Yeah.
25% of the screen time in this episode was them trying to put a circuit board into a
Bless you.
dumpster.
Thank you.
But that's the tension. That
But
part didn't bother me as much.
For me, it got to the point where it's like, oh my god, he can't quite reach it. Oh god, he got knocked out because he touched the power thing.
Oh, is Kaylee gonna get knocked out too?
Oh,
Oh, no, she's okay.
Oh my god, I completely forgot about that. Jane gets knocked out, and Simon, like, fucking makes it so
Yeah.
he can't move with,
That
like,
is a badass
drugs and
move.
shit.
Oh,
And it's
shit.
basically like, if you
Yes.
ever fuck with me again, I'll kill you.
And
No,
I'll
but-
kill you with my brain.
But he did say specifically, though, as long as he's on a medical bed, he's safe.
This
Right.
scene,
Any other
yes.
time.
This scene, let's actually stop back up. 'Cause
That's actually a good scene.
you know,
It was
you
such
know,
a good scene.
You all know at this point that I am on the Sean Maher train.
I've heard you like Simon a great deal.
Do you think who's my favorite character in Firefly? Would you say?
I think it's Inara.
I'll give you a hint. He said trans rights.
Simon! It was Simon!
So
Badger. I'm gonna say Badger.
Oh, I like Badger. But
so like
Well,
Jane
he's
is what does Jane want to do? Like what's his stupid thing that he's trying to get them to do?
What?
That
What?
leads to him being incapacitated.
Oh, he was just trying to...
He was touching a thing he shouldn't have during
Yeah,
the,
he was hoping Kaylee put the thing in the,
Right,
in the,
right,
in the
right,
trash thing, but he got zapped because
Yeah,
he doesn't know the mechanics as well.
Yeah. I was actually thinking of a different sequence in another episode where Simon drugs him to like so that he goes unconscious and
Oh, that was
yeah,
early
that
days.
was-
yeah. I was just mixing up the scenes.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But no, like Jane gets electrocuted. Simon and River have discovered that Jane almost turned them in.
Well, yeah, River knows. River's like, he doesn't want us to know.
There's a previous scene where I actually really like River in the scene because they're talking with Jane right there with them.
Yeah.
And they're talking and I want to say Saffron. No. River is
Willow.
Willow.
River's talking and saying like, "Oh, I don't trust her. She wants to turn us in. She wants to do bad stuff. I don't think we should trust her." Jane is a girl's name, and you realize she's talking about Jane to Jane's face. He has no idea that she knows not to trust him.
But Jane
And
isn't
then,
a girl.
and then she says something, seeing the future like she always does, and it's like, "Oh no, there's River again.
Yeah.
Fuck you,
And then,
fuck
and
you,
then Jane
fuck
threatens
you."
to expose himself, which was a little.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, that's
I guess,
right.
I guess
Oh,
I'm going to
yeah.
show you my man parts!
Forgot about that.
Yes.
I do not want
brand,
you
I
to show
guess,
us your
but,
man parts.
He gets his comeuppance though, right? Because
He does.
like just like the whole like it's just such a fucking power move, right? The like, I could fucking kill you.
Yeah.
But you know what, Jane? I have your fucking back because I'm a better person than you.
I choose trust.
Think about that.
It would have been great though if he was like, but unfortunately we couldn't save your man parts.
So now-
Those had
so
to
now-
be removed.
So now Jane is a girl's name.
Or even better, it's like, now I won't hurt you medically, but I did briefly flirt with the idea of being a tattoo artist when I was 16. I still have my kit, and now you just have the most charming one. You'll see.
It's a Pikachu.
Ooh.
Pikachu.
And yes, I did love, I will say, River. I have not had strong feelings towards River either way, dislike or like.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy, especially the delivery of like, and I can kill you with my brain.
Yeah, that was good. That
Yep.
was a good little
Power
button on that
pair.
scene.
Dynamic duo.
Yeah.
That was a
Yes.
highlight of an otherwise kind of.
I mean, it wasn't. I don't think this was a bad episode. I just
no,
think like
but it was.
Well, we've
lacking.
already seen their best heist, and
Yeah,
it was
we've
like
seen-
2 minutes ago.
they
so...
did a really good heist 2 episodes ago, which again, like,
I mean, the motivation's a bit. Meh.
yeah, and like,
Yeah,
and
they should
again,
never
they
have
also,
trusted
and I
this
also
bitch.
feel like they've already recently used the Saffron character
Yeah.
more successfully. So basically,
Oh, way
it's,
better the
It's like
first time,
taking,
for sure.
and this is a thing we've had the same criticism of Star Trek on numerous occasions where they're like taking plot elements of different episodes
Yeah.
and jamming them together and making a not as good episode,
But
as the
so
source
close
material. Yeah,
to
and,
another
and it's
one.
just
Well,
It's
like,
last week we talked about the reappearance of Nishka, and we'd seen him relatively recently.
But they
we
used
like,
him
But
better.
we like Nishka, so
Well, it's not just that, but it's also like he was way more like front and center on this episode, like that episode. Like the first time we met him, he was just kind of like, "And if you fuck me over, I kill you." Not at all what his accent sounds like. But in this case, we really got to spend time with Nishka.
Yeah,
There's
that's.
also-
Am I wrong?
It
there
was
was-
the.
Go ahead.
Sorry, it was the like sort of logical follow up to his
Well, right.
previous
This was
appearance
comeuppance. It was
for
like
what they'd done. Whereas this is just like, oh, it's it's you again.
This felt more like the writers were like, Saffron worked pretty well, and that
But we
that
know,
felt like.
but we know not to trust her now. So how do we get ourselves to trust her?
Here's a thought that I had about the show is that perhaps because the one of the things they do in this episode that they didn't do the first time was attempt to humanize her.
Yeah.
To some degree.
And was it real?
No.
Well, no.
I
but
so.
I don't know. I think there may have been like a kernel of truth to it, and it kind of makes me think: what if this were possibly a setup towards a
Saffron spinoff?
or I was going to say a Saffron joining the main cast in season 2.
Ooh. Kind of a Mantis kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like
maybe
Guardians Mantis?
yeah.
Maybe
I love
not
Mantis.
that
Me too.
soon, but I feel
She's
like
so cute.
they may have had the show lasted and the character grew popular enough. I wouldn't have been surprised if eventually she had become main cast.
Yeah, like I could see, because like it's the same type of thing where you'd have a character who's a villain but isn't like hated by the people, like just sort of like
Yeah.
and then
Well, she'd just be another Jane.
well the other I
Except
could
she'd have her
see
feminine
so
wiles
here's
and
the
not
thing.
guns.
I wonder if she would
Maybe
have
both.
I wonder if she would have replaced another
Inara.
yeah, because I think that probably if I'm the executives trying to figure out which characters are working on a show.
Which actors are acting on a
Well,
show?
like honestly, Christina Hendricks does a way better job with her character, I think, personally, in the first season than Morena does with her character. And I just think the character of Saffron is more interesting, and her dynamic with Mal, which they're trying to do with Inara and not really succeeding.
Yeah, they definitely have better chemistry.
They have
than-
better chemistry on screen. I don't know. I could see them doing a swap in the cast.
There's a really that idea actually does really interest me. There's a way in which a crew that has both Jane and Saffron as different sort of like points of power, so there's sort of like there's like Mal and Zoe, and then there's like Simon and River who have their own agenda, and then there's like Jane who has his own agenda, and then there's Saffron who has her own agenda. There's something like right now the only sort of antagonistic figure on the crew is Jane, and the idea of having another antagonistic figure who's completely different, shares nothing in common with Jane, and wouldn't want to work with him is really interesting.
Yeah, but the problem is that like that would have happened in 2003, and it would have just been a bunch of like Jane trying to fuck her all the time.
yeah.
It also
Yes,
would have
it
been
wouldn't have been
nonstop
great.
horror jokes.
Yeah.
So.
But then again, I do think that like if you look at this episode as a standalone Saffron episode, it's kind of meh. But I think if as a setup to deepen her character somewhat towards making her either, if not a main character, then a
very
recurring antagonist or collaborator or whatever she ends up being on the show, it makes more sense that they wrote it the way they did.
She has a lot of like noir potential, right? Of just like a character who just like you never really get to the bottom of and is always willing to betray you one more time, but is sometimes useful to you.
Yeah, I honestly think that so what Firefly is, I think was like just on the whole, like I like Firefly. I think Firefly does, or I don't know, I think Firefly came first. So I won't say they do the same thing, but I think that Farscape, which I don't know when they came out relative to each other, but I
feel like Farscape might have predated this just a little.
Ask Google.
Either way,
or
I feel
something.
like they like a sort of like the ragtag band of misfits thing. Like they tread some of the same ground, and I feel like Farscape does successfully do that as well.
I like Farscape.
Yeah, Farscape's really good.
How many sex workers do they have on the main crew?
One.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In Farscape?
Isn't
I've never seen it. I have
The
no
little
idea.
frog man with the floating chair, right?
Yeah.
no, isn't the
The white-haired chick, Chiana?
Chana, isn't she
No,
like
she's not a sex worker.
I thought there was something about her where
she came from like she came from a planet in crisis. Was she a sex
She's
worker?
basically Tasha
I thought she was. See, it's been so long since I saw this.
Yeah, we should
I could have
rewatch
sworn
it.
that there was something sexual that was kind of awkward about, like,
Is
where if they
just
did it
that-
today,
is it just
they
that
would
she
have.
gave you a boner? Is that what you're mixing up?
No, I do think there was like actual like.
I'm looking up the character.
Check it out, yeah.
Chiana was great. She was a wonderful character.
Oh, big time,
Everybody
big
at
time.
home.
Or was it?
Why aren't you doing
or
all of Farscape?
Who was the
That's what you should
red-haired
do.
girl that joined the cast?
Jewel. I think her name was Jewel.
Yeah.
She wasn't a sex
State.
worker. She was like a noble or something.
Yeah, she was like a fish out of water type.
Yeah, one of these days.
I liked her knob hair.
And
Watch that
what
show.
was
It's a good show. You should watch that show.
We could do it once we're done with Star Trek.
Apparently,
in
you've never seen other
2032.
sci-fi shows, so.
Well, it's funny because my old man used to watch it religiously. I don't know why I
It's
never
it's really solid,
got
solid
into
show.
it.
Yeah, it's really
What'd
good.
you find?
It's just on the ever increasing list.
Farscape. I did not learn the truth about Chiana, but Farscape did first air in 1999.
Oh, wow, it's older than I thought it was.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
it had
anyway,
moments.
yeah. So I feel like knowing that now, I'm like, there might have been some influence there for Whedon. Of course, like Whedon
I
famously didn't have aliens in his show.
You reminded me though of something I had read at some point while we were doing this, as far as maybe having Saffron be in the crew more frequently. Apparently, one of the things they had discussed doing, had there been a season 2, was that Jane would have gone off and gotten his own ship and crew.
And crashed it into a sun.
More or less. Like, basically the end result, I don't know how many episodes this plot would have spanned, but so he would have been in the show less, but it ultimately would have wound up with him crawling back to Mal, because he did not know how to captain. But assuming there would have been less Jane, then maybe Saffron could have filled that Jane void.
Yeah. Saffron could have filled my Jane hole.
Yeah, I realized I phrased that poorly.
Neat. So we have Inara spatting with Mal about how I just can't get work anymore.
Because he's like avoiding areas where she could get work.
Well,
because
the
he's
implication
trying
that
to.
this was all part of an act for.
That's what I'm curious about, because I know in a future episode they bring up the she wants to leave to find better work thing, and I think we're going to discuss it next week or something. It's going to have to be next week.
Yeah,
we don't have much time
yeah,
left.
Almost
next
out of
week it's the
episodes.
movie.
But like, do we think she might have been leaving, or?
Well, the thing is, she had asked to see him before, like, as soon as he landed, he was going to talk to her. I think that, at least to an extent, was genuine.
Are you talking about her leaving the show, Ames, though?
Yeah.
They might have
Oh.
been setting that up with some of not to spoil, but if you get to the movie, there's
No, definitely don't spoil. Chris hasn't seen it.
I mean, it's definitely like, just thinking about it rationally, like it is. I mean, book has less reason to be on the ship than Inara, but like it makes a lot of sense that Inara, like, just from a writing perspective, I can see sort of sitting around and being like, Inara does not have much tying her here. Is this a woman who would really sort of sabotage her future because she has a crush on Mal?
Yeah.
Like, that feels like an interesting question to ask as a writer room.
Well, there's that, and then I also think they had to have been realizing that the chemistry between these, if not the writing, but also just the actors themselves, I don't think have a ton of it for just the pair. I don't think it was a great pairing.
Well, it's hard to tell because she's just.
Yeah, she's kind of.
Now that I can see how bad she is, every time I watch, I'm just like, ugh.
I blame the dialogue.
It's true.
Because again, I've seen her in
things.
things.
And other things, like we've been watching, like Ames said, we watched SG1, and she has a recurring part in that in the final season, and it's a similar type of character, I guess, but it's.
They wrote her to be super enigmatic.
Yeah. But
she's like a little bit River
she's
and
better.
a little
Like
bit
her
Inara?
lines are less red.
A little bit country.
I wonder. I think that so I believe, if memory serves, gosh, y'all are Trek nerds. I'm a fucking Firefly nerd. If memory serves, I think that she was a model. Like, she was not an actor before this.
Oh,
so I think
right.
she may have undergone a David Boreanaz, where not to that extent, because like David Boreanaz, again, never
Is
do.
that how you say that?
I think so. Never do a Buffy podcast, but
I will not.
Thank you. But David Boreanaz in the first episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer is like laughable, painful to watch. And by the time he gets his own show, like, he clearly like did not just be like, great, I'm on a show, I'm going to collect my paycheck. Like, he decided to try to become good at acting.
Learn how to do
did.
the acting thing.
Exactly. And so she
Find a really good lookalike.
Yeah.
gotta
It's
say,
very likely like she didn't have time in 14 episodes, but she may have undergone a similar transformation.
That's true.
David Boreanaz really pulled one out that very few actors do, who are introduced to the world via a piece of genre media to then just do other stuff anyway.
What
Yeah.
other stuff?
He
He's
was
been in,
on
like, movies and shit.
He was on
too, hasn't
Bones
he?
for like all 10 years as a completely different character.
And that was like, I mean, that show had.
Oh,
like,
he wasn't a vampire in
similar
Bones.
casting to like a lot
In the
Order.
police
Like, it was
procedural.
pretty-
Yeah,
That would be a great police procedural
I would
where one of the detectives is just a vampire.
I would watch the fuck out of
I
that.
mean,
I
that's
would watch
that's
that. I would
basically
But he only feeds on corpses.
so
Of
basically
homicides.
I know what you're gonna
He'd be
say.
fired.
so
immediately.
basically it's like Lucifer meets Dexter.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Anyway, no, but I was gonna
Oh.
say, yeah, he did Bones, and then I think as soon as Bones ended, he had another show, which I don't know if it's still going.
I
But
don't even. Let me picture.
but again, very very few people I think who are interested. You have someone like say Patrick Stewart who got more famous because of genre stuff, but had
Yeah.
already had a career. But like you look at a lot of the people whose careers are made
Oh, this dude. I've seen.
in
this
genre
Show me this
stuff. It's hard for them to break out of that and do other things. And well done, David Boreanaz, for that.
Yeah. No, I
Nope,
mean, David,
not ringing a
I
bell.
have
Oh, you're
respect for
right.
David.
I have read his name wrong my whole life. I always thought it was Borneaz.
No, it's Boreanaz.
No, clearly, because Jake just showed it to me.
I-
I've been like flip-flopping
I
letters in my head forever.
Only know because I've heard other people say it. It comes up in BoJack Horseman.
It does come up. That's a very good arc.
David Boreanaz' house.
Quick, I have one note, and then we should actually probably move on.
Oh my
one
god, we
note-
have another episode. That's right.
My one note is that Chiana, I do not have any details, but apparently she was a sex worker before she met up
what
with
I
the
thought.
crew of Moya.
Well done, Jake.
I think that they do not.
Jake never forgets a sex worker.
I don't think that they use the W word in Farscape because they have the invented word trelk, which I think is roughly equivalent to slut, and that's what people call her when they want to call her something. There is an amazing moment late in the series that I remember where Chiana and John like go somewhere new and meet some new people, and they're like who's this, like I forget all the admitted profanity, but they call John something and they call Chiana a trelk. And then at the same moment, like Chiana's like, he's not a buh, and he's like, she's not a trelk. It's like just a good like, oh, John and Chiana, good friends forever. Chiana's
very
great.
good.
I don't even
Farskip's
know
great.
them and I
You
love
should
them.
watch it.
Trelk sounds like a delicious, like something you would get at a restaurant. Like I don't know, like
It sounds like a seaweed varietal.
I was gonna say it definitely has like it has a seafood feel. It's like what's that? Oh, it's Trelk. It's amazing. You'll love it.
Try the trelk.
Yeah.
That's actually what they call the ganglia of Saru's people in Discovery. Have some
Fried
trelk
Trelk.
soup.
I'd believe it.
What's our next episode?
Oh, well, I'm glad you asked,
Okay.
D. Message received. Ah, boy.
I'm cutting that.
Good.
No, actually, I left in your horrible,
Yeah, no, you owe
terrible
Caitlin that.
fucking Armis joke a few weeks ago.
I
So.
don't remember what that was.
Oh.
Anyway, in the message, Mal and company land, I don't know, fucking somewhere, post office planet.
They're at a
I guess.
space station.
And they got some mail.
Post office planet.
It's post office planet. Space Station P.O. Box 314. And they've got some mail. Jane gets oh boy. For our listeners who haven't been alive long enough, You've Got Mail was a common
There is no one listening to this podcast that isn't at least our age or older.
You don't know that.
Michael
We
Fisher.
could be huge with the kids.
Michael, you may not know this, but back in the day, if you had
There was also a
AOL,
very popular movie starring
Oh yeah, Meg Ryan,
Meg Ryan and Tom
Hanks.
Hanks.
And it was basically, what was it? It was
Sleepless in Seattle, but with the internet.
No, it was an actual good piece of literature or play made into
What was it?
yes, you know what it was? It was
The Lake House.
No, She Loves Me. You know the musical She Loves Me?
Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
yes, I don't like it.
So that's based on a story from whatever country they're
Which is
in.
based on a puppet show.
Basically, the story of She
Saucy
Loves Me
puppet
is
show.
that these two people work in a perfumery and they hate each other, but it also turns out that they're falling in love with each other by letter from like a personals column thing,
I'm
and
just
that's what
kind
it's
of
based
glad
on.
that Tom Hanks stopped doing rom-coms.
I'm
so
sorta just-
anyway, it turns out that Jane and Simon have been writing to each other.
and they're in love. It's beautiful.
They've been catfishing each other.
Oh my god. But so Jane gets a letter from his mom, which he apparently is barely fucking literate because he can barely read it. But she made him a nice hat, and this is
Aw.
Jane's hat, the famous hat
I like that you're acting
Jane.
like this is the main thrust of
It's
the episode.
very fucking important. Oh, and Mal got some dead guy in the mail.
Tell me more about
But
this
moving on, Jane terrifies people wearing that hat.
Mal and Zoe
I'm
received
sorry.
a dead guy.
And Wash was like, "Why are you guys getting mail written to each other like this?" Ah! And Zoe has to go deal with that.
No, that was War Stories.
yeah, no,
That
he's
was
in
last
character this episode.
Oh, good. Okay, great. Okay, sorry. So his masculinity is not threatened by them getting mail sent to the two of them together. But, yeah, so inside... Guys, what's in the box? What's in the box?
What is in the box?
Oh my god, there's a guy in the box.
It's a
He
dead
is
guy.
alive, though. He's got
Whoa,
organs
spoiler.
that aren't his.
Why do you always do this to
Not
me?
always. It's getting dragged out again.
Would
It
you like me
always
to
gets
slow it
dragged
down?
out.
Basically...
Slow it down for us, Caitlin. Tell us
right.
more about that hat.
Inside the box is a quote-unquote dead guy who Mal and Zoe were in the war with, and we know this because we have some flashbacks to more stuff that we didn't see the first time we saw them in the war. So they take him on board, and he's left them this message, and he's like, "Get me home, please. Okay, thanks, bye, kisses." And Simon's like, well... so basically someone's after them almost immediately looking for him, and they're like, fuck, what do they want him for? Let's cut him open and see what's in there. Perhaps it's diamond. Maybe it's candy.
More hats.
Ooh, lots of hats. Jane's lucky day. No, but when they cut into him with El Scalpel, which is not Spanish for scalpel probably, he does that thing that happens in shows that's like horrifying and makes me like really worry about not being dead and being cut into on a table. Oh god.
That's
And
bad.
he wakes up
Or buried.
wakes up screaming. Oh god, no, we don't talk about it. Being buried alive is terrible, but I think the scalpel thing is
Clowns.
worse. Oh, it's all bad.
Clowns
It's all
are
bad.
bad.
Anyway, the point is, they cut into him. He's alive, and he's like, "Oh, I just really want to get home. I messed up." Blah, blah, blah. But then it turns out that actually what's happened is he's being used as like an organ mule on the black market organ grinder. Oregon Trail. And
Organ Grinder.
Organ
What a
grinder.
terrible app.
Yum. And gosh, I don't know. There's a firefight. He shoots somebody and then he gets shot, and he and Kaylee
Wash
are...
in the face.
Before he gets shot, he's flirting with Kaylee, and it's like really cute, but then
in the middle of a fucking high-speed chase.
after grazing Wash in the face with a bullet, he takes Kaylee hostage and is like, "Don't turn me over," and then he dies. And the episode's over, thank God.
Who shoots him?
Mal does, I
Everyone.
think.
Mal in what
Yeah,
I will
it's the
grant.
Orient
Zoe
Express.
shoots him the first time.
Yeah, but
Right,
the kill
in the-
shot is Mal.
In the chesticle.
which is I will grant a delightful bit of dramatic irony, because in the flashback it's Mal who says somebody out there is carrying a bullet youth right now and doesn't even know it.
Ooh.
That is irony.
Both him and Zoe were carrying bullets with his name on it.
Yeah.
But I think we all know what this episode is about.
What's
it's
it about?
the fact that
Penetration.
Simon does not have game.
Yeah, he does
yeah,
not.
man.
He
Oh,
is so.
no.
Oh
Simon.
god, is this the episode
Oh,
with
that's
the
right.
fucking cow
Because they were on
fetus?
like
It is.
they were on like arcade planet.
Yeah.
It's
Arcade
Post Office
City.
Planet, okay?
Post Office Planet, Arcade City. It was within Post Office.
Arcade
Planet.
City on Post. Yeah, it's true.
And and Simon, honey, the girl is ready to plow. All you gotta
my
do.
God.
All you gotta do.
She's like,
is-
we're all alone for 5 minutes, and he's like, I can be done in 2.
Ugh.
Look, the pretty ones are always a little dumb.
Oh,
Don't talk about Kaylee like,
Simon.
oh wait a minute, you mean
Yeah, no, it's fair about Simon. Kaylee's not dumb at all.
No,
No,
Kaylee's
Simon.
wonderful.
Yeah.
And
Kaylee knows
Kaylee
exactly
is
what she wants.
giving you so many chances, Simon. You just keep fucking it up. You're like, we've got some time alone. He's like, you're so sweet
Check
and
out
pretty.
this cow.
And she's like, yeah, tell me more. And he's like, and you're like the only girl out here who's not my sister or married, so I guess you'll do. And she's like, wow, deal breaker.
Nailed it, buddy.
I'm sure the other deal breaker were his trendy cargo pants.
Was he wearing cargo pants? I
He
didn't
was
even
at one
notice.
point, and I had
Cargo pants. They're
nothing,
very
but I
utilitarian.
How
I
much
had.
clothing did he bring with him on
I'm wearing
on
cargo.
Serenity?
I'm not wearing cargo shorts.
I think I had like an
Sometimes I am.
embarrassing
Sometimes
amount.
I wear cargo
Not
shorts.
wearing any shorts at all.
I had an embarrassing amount of cargo pants in high school, and
It's not embarrassing.
someone
Shouldn't be embarrassed.
someone should have stopped me.
It was the thing back then, though, right?
Carpenter jeans
You needed to carry
are
a lot
useless.
of stuff.
I agree.
I really
This was
didn't.
before it was trendy to wear knapsacks around.
Because like, who's gonna need to carry a hammer? I mean, unless you're actually a carpenter. But really, like most people that bought carpenter jeans were
Were
not
not
carrying
Okay,
hammers.
but like
Simon
you
is
needed
a
a big
medic,
deep
though.
you needed
That's
a big
true.
deep pocket to like put your chain wallet and shit. wallet.
I did not have a chain wallet.
I had a chain wallet, but I had this wimpy short chain.
God, the 90s sucked.
Like
But
that became a thing. Like whoever had, and then like some kids had like fucking bike chains, and it was like holy shit.
But
I
let's
wore a
talk
bike
about-
chain necklace.
Let's talk about Simon and Kaylee.
Edgy.
Yeah,
Are they
yeah.
a good couple?
No!
No, of course
Wow,
not.
strong
they're
view.
like,
terrible.
they are a pretty couple,
Oh, they're so
and I want them to fuck,
Yeah, they're very attractive.
But that's it.
but
yeah,
he's
they
an
don't
idiot.
need to get married. They should just...
When it comes to her, he's an idiot.
And she's
Otherwise,
bad.
he's fine.
He's reaching.
But
and
like,
she can't,
like
and he can't
honestly,
get there.
honestly,
It's
he's
true.
just.
She's
I
like
think
a 9. He's like...
he's.
No.
The
Oh,
thing
Come
is,
on, he's a solid 7.
that was a.
Yeah,
that
but
was
that's
a
still-
weird.
that's only
moment
7 of 9,
honesty
D.
for him, though. Like,
Say more, Jake.
I said that was a moment of honesty for him with the whole, like, he said what he meant, which is
Never do
you're
that.
the woman that's near me at the moment who's available, and
No, I don't think.
I
don't
took
think
him at his
that's
word that
valid.
he was trying to be funny and failing.
Yeah, no, because I don't think that he thinks about her that way at all. Like, I honestly think, like, are they destined to be married and raise a family? I'm not sure. But, like, I think that they are two young people who are, like, they have a lot in common in terms of their values, even if their personalities are very different. They're sort of different and exotic to each other. They're both, like, very attractive. Like, I think that they're a good, like, let's date in our 20s couple.
They have
Yeah.
more in common, though, than you think, because doctors are basically just, like, people mechanics, aren't they?
Totally. They're both very smart. Like, Kaylee is not educated, but she is, like, in terms of sheer, like processing power.
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
she's
Well, they-
brilliant.
yeah, they
She's,
have-
like
they-
she's a savant.
they both
Yeah.
have strong domain knowledge
Yeah.
in their particular domains, and like,
And they both are people on the show who are motivated by, like, I feel, like, there's characters like Zoe who are very motivated by, like, relationships, and they're both people who are motivated very strongly by principle.
Yeah.
They're, like, I mean, I think that they're a pretty good couple, actually. Like, I'm not sure, like,
It wouldn't last.
They've got a lot going on. They come from very different backgrounds. I'm not sure it would last.
But they should be fucking in the engine room every other day.
His parents wouldn't like her.
That's fine.
What the
That's
fuck
so
do their
much-
opinion matter?
So much the better.
yeah,
I know exactly.
I don't know if I ship them, but I would say that after my catfishing joke, I am shipping Simon and Jane.
No. It's not Simon and Jane. It's Book and Jane, y'all. It's Book and Jane.
That
It's
could
got
be
a nice
that could be
ring to
spin-off
it.
series, Book and Jane.
It'd be a good
Jane's
comic strip, maybe. Like
Jane's
a
all
webcomic.
like, I'm bad, and Shepard's like, boy, you don't even know what bad is. Slaps him across the face.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
Now I'm shipping Book and Jane.
I don't know. See, I haven't
You're
gotten
like, no,
any
Book has a
indication that-
gentle touch.
I haven't. I mean, not that he's been given much of a chance, but I feel like, I would sort of take
Oh, man.
Book at sort of face value of maybe actually, for whatever his dark history is. Like, I feel like he probably is now like a celibate priest. I don't think of him as being a
No,
sexual being.
You're absolutely right. Like, he says, I think he has that line at some point, like, I'm walking a narrower path. I'm just saying, in the world, if you were going to write a fan fiction,
Oh, okay.
and he could have sex for some reason, like, maybe he was part of a different order instead, I think that
We need to
Jane Book would
repopulate
be
this
pretty
planet.
good. Boy, my fellow man, it's the future. Let's do this.
So
Oh.
something I just
If he
realized
was part of
is-
like a Dionysian
I
order.
just realized that
There you go.
I've completely forgotten that Book existed until you just brought him up.
They haven't
like-
been using him
Because he has
too
not,
much.
yeah, like
Until-
what?
Yeah.
Like it's a cool character,
Yeah.
And every time you give Book something to do, it's cool.
Well, and
Yeah.
Ron Glass is like,
Yeah,
he
he's
just
solid.
boils charisma, like
But,
he
like,
just exudes
He's
presence.
amazing. He's got a beautiful
the only
voice.
the only like Book plot I really didn't like was the hair episode.
That was
Dumb.
uncomfortable.
Well, that was
liked
white
that
people
one.
being terrified by
Okay.
natural hair. Like, get the fuck out of
Fair.
here. Not
Yeah,
you.
like-
I just mean, like,
Yeah,
I don't...
yeah,
But,
yeah.
Like, I think they meant it to be funny.
It was cute. It was cute.
But they weren't thinking of the larger implication of what was happening.
You're absolutely right.
But
Also,
they-
River was
but-
there.
It was 2002.
We were so innocent then.
We
Yeah,
were
had
such
no
shit
idea.
back then and didn't
We
know
were
it.
shit.
But yeah, I just realized though that like Book really hasn't had much.
Though
to
he did
do.
play into the climax of this one pretty
Yeah.
majorly. Oh, that's one. So I kind of liked this one, but one of the big failings for me was like no one tried to stop and explain to
No.
Troy,
Tracy?
Tracy, what was going on. Like, even if, like, someone tried and he just kept interrupting them, that would have been fine.
Yeah.
But as it is, no one even tries to tell him what the deal is. And that's the one thing where I'm like, ooh, that could have been easy fix.
Mal and Zoe know him. They know he's kind of a fuck-up. So I think the answer is just get him the fuck out of the way and let us do the thing, because we know he's such a fuck-up.
Yeah, but if they just, like, they could have gotten to put the gun down if they were just like, we're not actually going to turn you in, there's a plan.
You know, just something, what you just said, Ames, so I don't know, it just clicked something about the episode for me in a new way, which is not, I guess it's not about the episode, but there's something really interesting about, like, revisiting, this is my friend who I went through something important with, who I care about, who's just a fuck up. Like, what is your responsibility to that person, right? Like, I feel like everybody's had an experience like that at some point, of just like, oh, I care about you, but it's me, you're making it tough. You're making it tough not to shoot you.
Yeah, this is like the best friend from high school that comes out of the woodwork to ask for money. This is like they might as well have rewritten this episode, and instead of being a body in a box, he just shows up and is like, "You want to buy into my multi-level marketing?"
Well, but they're
I'm
like
doing organ trading.
They give it like the added stakes of like soldiers who have trauma effectively.
True.
Like all three of them do in different ways.
Yeah.
That's something that, like, that's one of the reasons I'm so looking forward to DS9. There's such a great PTSD, like, episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
just,
excited.
Like, really, there's an episode of DS9. It doesn't come. It's not until very late in the series. So
Right.
It's only a paper moon.
I don't think so.
We'll get to it in
Is
like
that
3
might-
years.
I'm
guys.
excited. I'm really excited about DS9, so this is only adding to that excitement.
You might be right. There's a really good episode, and like that's one thing that I wish they had. I get what you're saying, that this episode's kind of trying to address like that, like this guy, you know, he was in the war, and after the war clearly didn't adjust, but they don't really address. I don't think they address around that issue.
Well, it kind of feels like he's like a failed Mal. He's someone that tried to kind of get into the, like, outlaw lifestyle and just was not suited for it.
How old was he during the war? Because they say they were in the Battle of
Yeah, that one.
The impression
something 7 years ago.
That's the thing. They never really said
Yukon.
explicitly, but the way he was portrayed, especially in the flashbacks, it felt like he's probably supposed to be
Like
younger
18?
than them.
Yeah, like a teenager.
I think he's younger. The actor definitely reads as younger than Mal and Zoe.
Yeah.
And it's plausible, like, I'm just trying to, I feel like I can't remember his face well enough to place him, but I would say, like, I'd place him between 25 and 30, which if he was like 18 and enlisting, which is not implausible at all, especially, like, late in the war, like, it does make some sense. It's funny because, like, this is actually, like, just thinking of it this way, like, has just, like, sharply made me be like, but wait, about this whole episode, because I agree with you, Jake, that it's, like, there's something that they don't close in, like, they don't, but there's something I like about that almost, you know, that they're just kind of like, yeah, geez, it's really messy. Mal and Zoe have both made peace with it in a certain way, but they aren't actually, like, you know, they're not healed.
They're still kind of fighting all
I-
the time.
I was gonna say, I wouldn't say that Mal's made peace with it.
Yeah, whenever they see someone in the alliance,
yeah.
their impulse is to beat them up.
It's
Well,
like they've
Mal's
built-
impulse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Zoe's is to not get Mal killed.
Yeah. And, like, both of them are, like, have reached some sort of stability, but they are not, like, especially Mal is not actually like, doing that well, and they don't have the stability to help this person who's in deep trouble.
Yeah.
And they can't cut, it's like they can't cut through the Gordian knot to get to what's really going on.
Just like they couldn't cut into him because he woke up too fast.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I do
Sounded
really
in my
love
head.
the idea of him, like, just transporting organs around, because you have to be inside you to keep working.
But like, how do
living.
they get his organs where they need to be?
I mean, I think that's kind of, I feel like that's kind of the point, right? That they're like, but wait, isn't this incredibly dangerous? And, like, why would they, like, keep you alive at the end? And he's like, what am I supposed to do? Like,
Oh yeah, you're right. It was sort of meant to be a death sentence. Never mind.
yeah.
Okay.
No, well,
It was a stupid thing that
He
had
was
done.
under the impression they'd be sticking new organs in him. The thing is, he's got to... Like, I think they can transport regular organs just fine. He's got these weird
Yeah, they're like super
bioengineered...
organs.
Yeah, like, they didn't get into details.
And they're illegal,
okay,
right?
Okay.
Yeah, for some reason. I'm going to go out on a limb, and who knows, maybe this is in fact what happens. But maybe the long-term plan, and maybe this will get explained in one of the 2 remaining episodes of our film, but the Reavers are actually a result of weird alliance experiments that this organ thing was related to.
Ooh. I would say, though, that I think it would have been more interesting, perhaps, if he wasn't promised to have his organs put in. Like, if he was, if it was legit, just like
he knew he
like
wasn't.
This is all I have. Like I just want to.
My family.
I want to help my
taken care of or
family.
something.
I want to help my family, and they'll get this money, and I'm just going to go and make this delivery, and that'll be it.
Not expecting to ever wake up again.
Yeah, and then he maybe has a change of heart. Which leads to the thing with Mal and Zoe.
And then he gets to hit on Kaylee a lot.
Yeah.
Man, they were really cute. Their chemistry was good. It pissed me off so much.
Well, what's interesting is that, like, they set Kaylee up to be, like, already kind of...
Like, pissed off at Simon?
Well, they're... No,
I'm gonna
but
get
I was
back
gonna
at
say...
Simon by
But I was
hitting up
gonna
with
say,
this guy.
like, into him when he's still dead. Like,
Huh?
well, like, I don't know, like, there's some... I don't know, like, into him, like, in a sexual sense, but certainly in a...
His tragic story.
There's like
She's sitting there with this
a
recorder.
pity thing happening because she's sitting in her bunk listening to the recording of the message.
Oh, you said the title.
Yeah.
And like they show that. I also noticed, just by the way, a little aside, in that scene when she's sitting there listening to the message, I noticed on her shelf next to where her little hammock is a Han Solo in carbonite.
Oh,
Was there really?
Yeah, a little
That's
Han
wild.
Solo toy.
That's annoying.
Which means that they evidently Star Wars is still a thing.
That or she just likes that toy and has no idea what the context of what it is.
They stole it from the collector's house. And
There you go.
trash.
They should have stolen more stuff from Duran's house.
Well,
Yeah, they had their chance at that point.
It was all, but I'm pretty sure that scene was before he woke up. So having the Han Solo, I think, was a little foreshadowing.
Oh, wow.
That he ain't really dead.
It's like there's something very like.
If that's true, that's amazing.
It makes me think of like Pygmalion almost. Like it's a different narrative, but there's something about this like she's sitting there.
You mean the mythological one, right? Not the...
Yeah, the mythological. Yes. Not
I was gonna say like.
not-
I was
not
like,
the- not the
she's
toll.
gonna make him into a lady?
No.
Teach him how to speak right.
No, the idea of like, there's like an inanimate object and you're projecting things onto it and then it comes to life and it like fulfills your fantasy.
Oh.
There's something about like Kaylee sitting there and she's lonely because Simon doesn't have game and
No game.
she's imagining this like, oh, this romantic soldier, and then he comes to life, and because Tracy is kind of shit because he's kind of messed up in the head, like
And the heart.
he manipulates that. He manipulates that to like get close to her.
Yeah.
Jerk.
Yeah.
So, one thing I found distracting were a couple of aesthetic choices that were made this episode. So we talked last week and previously about how the Alliance, their status is very gray.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden in this episode, we very briefly see that one soldier that's going to go kill Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
And his breastplate is still the, like, second-hand Starship Troopers breastplate we've seen before. But instead of the Starship Troopers helmet, it's like a World War II Nazi helmet.
We're talking about
Whoa.
Lieutenant Womack?
No, the guy that goes to kill Tracy in the flashback.
Okay.
The guy that nearly sneaks up on him. But Womack, yes, is dressed like a fucking SS officer.
Mm.
Like,
Well, Womack is something else entirely
these are
because he's
crooks.
not actually
These
really
are-
a cop.
no, he is.
Womack?
He's just outside of his jurisdiction.
Because he's into some shady fucking shit.
Yeah, I got, the impression I got was that the whole
If he
idea
was a
that these
cop,
guys
he's
were-
no longer a cop.
Yeah, these are crooked people.
No, because Book said, like, you're doing this on the side. You don't want the Alliance to know you're here because you're outside of your area. Like, the impression I was under is that he is still... Like, yeah, what he's doing is not condoned.
You're the point you're making is just about costuming.
Yeah, which at the very least, no one questioned that being an Alliance costume. Is
Yeah.
that suddenly Alliance costumes have been infused with some Nazi imagery out of nowhere, and that's
but
weird.
You know what, though? I'm sure they're fine people in the Alliance,
I'm just saying it's weird because up until this point, the show has done a pretty good job of leaving them like. Again, aside from like the creepy academy guys and stuff, mostly gray, and then all of a sudden we've got a lot of Nazi shit happening, and it's like,
Interesting.
I didn't know this.
what's going on here?
It may have been made like I mean, these agents in particular are especially malevolent, so they may have just been like, let's play with their costumes to play that up.
Maybe. Yeah.
How can we telegraph that these are bad guys?
Yeah.
Nazis.
To make them look like Nazis.
Yeah, but that just struck me as a really weird and distracting choice.
Yeah.
I mean, at first it was just the soldier in the flashback. I was like, well, that was weird. But then Womack shows up, and I'm like, what the fuck? So
He
I was
was
already
wearing
like,
Gestapo clothes?
more or less, he looks very SS.
I have to look at that again, because I didn't catch that.
You know what's a strong connection between this episode and the last episode?
What?
Kaylee's spending a lot of time in the DJ decks.
Mm.
And this time she had a little audio to go with it. Yikes.
I love that it was clearly just like, in classic low-budget sci-fi fashion, they just bought an existing, digital recorder,
Yeah.
painted it a funny
brown or
color, and then
something.
added some buttons. Like, oh god. How fucking, what was it, around the same time? Episode 1, Qui-Gon's communicator was just like a lady chick with the head removed.
What?
Good.
And once that's pointed out, you can't unsee
Wait,
it.
like literally?
Honestly, I admire the scrappy.
No, I think it's great, don't get me wrong.
Wait, let me see. I gotta look it up now.
Yeah.
Anything else to say about the message?
Yes. This was the last episode filmed before they knew that the show was canceled. So I think they learned while they were filming or something like that. And I know the composer wrote that funeral score kind of as a goodbye to the whole show.
I think I remember hearing that the funeral is the last scene that they ever shot.
Yeah, that sounds right.
It's got some sad energy.
Yeah. It was nominated for a Hugo for Best Dramatic Presentation.
Guess what? Kaylee and Simon hold hands. Those kids are gonna make it.
That was sweet. I like
I don't know if they're gonna make it, but they're gonna...
They're gonna make it though.
Totally
Bacon,
gonna
bacon.
Yes. And Joss Whedon plays a family member at Tracy's funeral.
Well, good thing you didn't say anything.
Yeah.
I just have no proof the man can act, so...
I did look it up, by the way, and yeah, it's definitely a chick. What the fuck?
Crazy.
It is crazy. That's so wild.
Blowing revelations.
Kaylee is always being taken hostage by boys she likes.
Who's the other? Oh, it's Simon.
Simon does it
Wonder
too.
if she has daddy issues. I don't know.
Well,
No, I don't know. I just...
what I was gonna say is that, I think it's actually, a writing thing, right? It's if they're we need to escalate the situation to make it seem really bad.
Quick, point a gun at the cutest character's head.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, right, and no one's taking fucking Zoe hostage.
Yeah,
Can you imagine you try to take Zoe hostage? She just break your face.
Oh, but the best thing is when people take Simon hostage. Because he's so cute. Little helpless baby.
Wait, when did that happen? I don't even remember that.
Doesn't it happen? Well, it happens in an episode you haven't seen yet.
Oh, okay, it hasn't happened yet. I was like,
Yeah.
does that happen? It does make sense, and I'm sure it's adorable.
Oh, little Simon.
Yeah, it does seem like putting Kaylee in jeopardy is the go-to move of these writers. When it's
It's kind of
we
it's
need
a little
raise the
lazy.
stakes. Like it happened in the war stories too. She got overwhelmed
Oh yeah.
when she thought she might have to shoot somebody.
Hold this ground.
But that did make sense for the character, though.
Oh yeah, but the same thing. It's oh god, the stakes, and then
Yeah, let's show her. Yeah.
Poor Kaylee.
Any other note, James?
I was sad for the postman.
Oh, yeah, that poor fucker.
If Rossi's listening, I'd love to know what he thinks about how the postman was portrayed.
But he did get.
He made it. They
Yeah,
blew
he
out
made
the
it.
match.
Yeah.
Still, that was yeah. He had a rough go of it.
And Michael, if you're listening, we want to know how you would eat that problematic food.
What was the problematic food?
It was a ball on a string.
Yeah, that's right.
This food is problematic. It's
I
like a sweet, but it's on
Don't
a
let
fishing
River
rod.
out of her box.
And River's trying to eat it, but she can't figure it out.
They did show someone else eating it beforehand, but you didn't get a good look at them. So what was it
Wait,
called?
did this really happen?
Yeah.
I didn't even see. I don't remember seeing this at all.
Yeah, it was called like a snow planet or an ice planet. What did they call it?
I think a snow planet. No, maybe an ice planet. That sounds more right.
Oh my! I missed all the
All the
problematic food and all the
all the
Nazi clothes.
problematic
Apparently,
It was on the food was on the space station post office with the
Post
cow
office planet.
fetus.
yeah.
P.O. Box 9.
Hey, so Caitlin, I'm curious. What's next in the wild world of Firefly?
5.
Well, Dee, I'm glad you asked.
Very little left.
I was gonna remark on you having a heart of gold or something.
Works nicely though. There's even number of episodes, so it makes our episode.
It does work
quite
out really
easy.
nicely. Yeah, so that about wraps it up for Trash and the Message. Well, next week we're going to talk about the last 2 episodes of the Firefly series, Heart of Gold and, what does it say, Object in Space?
Objects in space.
Objects in Space.
I object in space.
Objects in Space is actually the one episode that I really remember from the first time I watched this series, and I don't know.
I haven't
You
rewatched
don't
it.
remember it.
No, I remember it. I just feel like, for me, tonally, it comes way out of left field, and I just am like,
We're going to talk about this next week, Caitlin.
I mean, I will, but I'm just saying that I'm...
Just remarking on her memories of the episode.
Yeah, that's all.
I will go on record. I am not sure that y'all will like it, but I haven't rewatched it in a long time. But I really like Objects in Space.
I think I really like it too. There's a character that gets introduced in that episode that I really enjoy.
Non-shitty river?
Boba Fett?
Kermit the Frog.
Kermit
Boba
the Frog,
Fett.
the first alien. Kermit the Frog
Hi,
was
there.
introduced.
He shows up, he's singing the Rainbow Connection.
Oh, it should have been those fucking Martians. Yep, 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 yep.
Oh my god, I love those yip-yips. Alright, but yes, next week, Heart of Gold, Objects in Space. For now, this has been A Star to Steer Her By. If you like what you heard, you can subscribe. You can like our page on Facebook. We are A Star to Steer Her By. You can follow us on Twitter and Tumblr at SSHB Podcast. You can visit our website at sshbpodcast.com. Or you can listen to our podcast either like where you're doing it right now since you found us, or you can do it somewhere else if you want to switch it up. We are on SoundCloud, we are on Stitcher, we are on Google Play, and we're on Apple Podcasts. Yes, finally got it right. Until next time, I have been Caitlin.
I've been Jake.
This has been Chris.
This has been Ames.
This has been D. Simon Tam definitely came out as trans 10 years later. We will always have Paris listeners.
Thank you for joining us, Dee.
Thank you.
Come again soon, please. You're always my favorite part of every episode that you're on.
Thank you.
I mean, like, you're here and, you're pretty and you're a girl and you're the girl that's closest to me right now. So, no, but really, I love when you come on our podcast. Please come again
Caitlin
immediately.
says this to all the guests.
Oh no! You shouldn't call Justice a girl. That's not
Oh, poor... I would never.
Before we stop recording, I want to give you all some great audio that you can use however you want. I'm gonna do some acapella Firefly theme.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh, Chris is gonna hate this. He hates the Firefly theme.
Down, 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 down. Take my life, take my land, take me where I cannot stand. I don't care, I'm still free. You can't take the sky from me. Yeah, there's one music. Got no place I can be since I found serenity. But you can't take the sky from me. Down, 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 down.
Have you heard Chris's acapella version?
I was gonna say you haven't listened to it. You haven't watched our episodes yet, so you don't know
Yeah, Chris,
Chris's version.
do your acapella version.
Oh no, Dee'll hear it.
I'll
Catch
look
up.
out for it.
It's the
was in-
second episode
Yeah.
called Ate Some Ham.
Ooh, I love the little hand. Well,
It's foreshadowing.
oh boy. Ames, is the sci-fi heroine bracket going to be public by the time?
Oh
this
yeah,
airs?
it will. It
So-
might be even earlier.
Fans, I just wanna call out listeners.
Dee's calling it now.
Michael Fisher, I'm talking to you. Like, go to wherever. Go to the Flat Earth Theater.
It'll be posted on the Facebook too.
Go to Facebook and you vote for Ellen Ripley. She needs you. You know that Ellen Ripley can survive anything. She can survive Leeloo Dallas multipass. She can even survive Dana Scully's scrutiny. So you go out there and you vote for your girl, Ellen Ripley. Ellen for president.
If we're asking
that
Michael
seemed like it hurt.
Fisher to do things, Michael, could you review human headphones? They seem really fascinating to me, but the only review I found on YouTube was from some guy I don't know.
What is it? Human?
Yeah,
What is it?
I'll show you later. They're fascinating.
Michael will let you know. You watch his feed.
They're the first.
Okay.
They are the first wireless Bluetooth headphones I've seen that have intrigued me and not just made me think.
Yeah, I watched his recent foldable phone thinger, and I am still enraged that there still isn't one that will fit into a woman's size
surviving.
pocket.
Maybe we need to get bigger
the pizza's
pockets.
caught up to me.
Maybe they need to
boy.
design bigger pockets.
I
Listener,
think
Jake is falling apart. Before
We better
I'm okay with
get
that.
get
What
going.
they
Jake
need to
is
do
trash.
is just
I'm starting
stop
to-
with the
I'm starting to
folding
fade
phones
here, boy.
Just make one I can wear on my wrist.
Like
Like
Leela's.
Leela.
Yeah, like Leela's wrist thing. Or as many people like to say when I say this, a Pip
Oh,
Boy.
the Pip-Boy, yep.
But a Pip Boy's a bit clunky. I want something I can hide under my sleeve.
You
Yeah.
mean like a wrist
that'd
watch?
be tough with tight
No,
sleeves.
like
Multipass. It's fun to say.
see, the thing is, I have weak shoulders, so every shirt I buy inevitably winds up with puffy sleeves. Because I button it at the wrist,
Pirate
and then there's all
shirts.
this extra material. So, yeah, no, next time I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt, you'll see I have puffy sleeves.
You know, you don't have to
Like a
button it at the
pirate.
wrist.
I do for work.
You
Kind
could
of,
roll
sort
her
of.
up.
Nah, yeah.
So,
No, but then you'd be in your
and-
shirt
and-
sleeves.
Yeah, it's true.
You know who doesn't like that? One of the characters in the play. No
Doesn't like
Exit.
shirt sleeves?
She hates men in their shirt sleeves. It's a lie. What are we doing here?
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I think we have to do
this.
silence
Cake,
and...
Oh, yeah.
Caitlin.
Caitlin?
Take us
No, but
away,
we have to silence.
boys.
Yes, we do. Starting now.